And happy Wednesday. I'm very excited about this week's webinar Wednesday because we have our fabulous country director, Sanka, who knows all there is to know about Sri Lanka. And this webinar is going to be a really nice one because it's the secrets of Sri Lanka. So we're kind of going off the beaten track and finding out some of those places that you won't find on all the other websites and blogs because they've come straight from the experts. So without further ado, I will pass you on to Sanka. If you guys have any questions as we go through, just pop them in the Q&A box and we will answer them at the end. So thank you, Sanka.
Thank you, Ellie. So welcome everyone, and thank you again for your time. So this time around, we'll be focusing on clients. Maybe they are thinking about returning back to Sri Lanka or wanting to do something off the beaten track where they want to avoid the groups that are being attracted to places like Yala or Sigiriya, which are very famous. So since time is of the essence, we will jump in. So what I have done with this presentation is like categorize it according to regions. So we'll be focusing on the western and southern coast first. What are the off the beaten track experiences, and then one or two hotels in that area that are not very well known. So likewise, I have done it in that category. So if you are taking down notes, that'll be easier for you rather than jumping here and there. So yes, west and south coast. First off, let's talk about Mulkirigala Cave Temple. So this is closer to Tangol. So I would say if your clients are staying over at maybe Amman or like Last House, so it's just a 30-minute drive for them. So this is one of the lesser known temples that is actually an alternative to Dambulla Cave Temple, which is in the Cultural Triangle. So Dambulla being very famous, everybody goes there. And then, like I said earlier, it's very crowded as well. So Dambulla has 5 painted caves. Here we have 7 painted caves. So this includes a hike actually. So I mean, you have to climb the rock. So I mean, like there are steps towards the top. So I mean, like it's nothing hard, and amazing history as well. So since it is like off the radar of a lot of tourists, once you go there, I'll be like very surprised if there are any other tourists in this area. So okay, so apart from the 7 caves, there are like ancient ruins of like image houses and then ancient temples. So in different layers, these ruins are located. Then the next one is called the Vavurukannala Temple. So this has one of the tallest seated Lord Buddha statues in Sri Lanka. And I mean, like in terms of Sri Lanka, everything is like either 1,000 years old, 2,000 years old. In terms of that, this is a little bit newer, I would say, but still it's more than 200 years old. And one of the most interesting parts about this temple is like, so I mean, like most of the Catholics believe in heaven and hell, and then like in Buddhism also there is a little bit of karma and what would happen to you if you do bad things in life. So this subject matter is depicted in one of the areas of the temple where the hell is like personified. I mean, like there are statues of demons, like torturing human beings. So the whole story behind that is like if you do bad things in life, then this is what's going to happen in your afterlife. So again, 30 minutes from Tangol. This is very close to Mathura actually, so which is having another fort called the Mathura Fort, just like the Galle Fort. And in Bentota, we do have Brief Garden. So everybody knows about Lunuganga, which was created by Geoffrey Bawa, the famous architect. His brother was also an architect as well. So not a lot of people know about his brother because, I mean, like, let's be frank, Geoffrey is like world famous. And because of that, not a lot of people go to the trouble of finding any other good architects. So Bevis was like 7 foot tall, and then like in this day and age we don't have to explain it because like what I'm about to say, but maybe like 15 years ago, 20 years ago, when we were starting off in the tourism industry, we were telling this telling this point because Bevis was gay. So I mean, like his sexuality is like portrayed, throughout his garden, and then he was not hiding the fact that he was gay. And there are a lot of paintings about how he likes boys, and then a lot of statues with male reproductive parts being out in the open. So I mean, why I said in this day and age is like if you get the vibe that your clients are homophobic, then of course you would have to keep them informed. But 99.99% of the time, you don't have to worry about that. This is a nice secret garden that we have, but unfortunately, it is not a direct alternative to Lunaganga. Lunaganga is still really good, but Brief Garden would be a good place to visit for those who are interested in architecture, gardening, landscaping, and also like honeymooners, like just walking around, exploring the garden and different nooks and corners. So this is a nice option for those guests who are in Bentota. So, couple of the properties that are off the beaten track: Glenross Living, sister property of Water Garden Sigiriya. This is in a place called Kalutara, actually. So, this is not on the beach, 1.5 hours away from the airport. So, this is categorized as a wellness retreat. So, the main house is a colonial house which has 3 suites, one room downstairs, 2 rooms upstairs. The 2 rooms upstairs has a common living space. So if you're looking for 2 rooms with friends traveling together, or family looking for 2 rooms, this is an ideal space to book. They do have 7 pool villas as well scattered around. And then one thing we always say is like the road leading up to these villas are uneven. Of course, they do have buggy service, but still, no, like if you have any guests who are like having walking disabilities, we would have to keep them informed. So the villas are always duplex units. So you enter into the ground floor, and then down below at the basement level, you would have the pool. So the bedroom is on the ground floor, and then the pool that you see in this slide is at the ground level. This is not a direct alternative to places like Hatton or Alla, but still somebody who is looking for a mountain kind of an experience, who is not willing to travel more than 1.5 to 2 hours to get that vibe, then of course Glen Ross is a nice place to be. So they still don't have Ayurveda wellness treatments, but they do have spa treatments. Yoga clients would love this. They have a large yoga shala as well. And then if you have any yoga retreats, this would be an ideal place to be. The next property is called Thekanda Lodge. This is in Ahangama, inland on top of a mountain. Amazing views, actually. So the 6 bedrooms, out of the 6, there are 2 cottages, and then I mean, like we do have our favorite room numbers. And then one of the rooms, the photo is at the top left corner with an amazing view of the paddy field and the surrounding area. And since it's like 6 rooms, if you have like a large family or friends traveling together, ideal place to buy out the whole place. Once again, slopes are there. The walking pathways are most of the time even, but if you have like very small kids, we would have to tell them, look here, if the kids behave, that's fine. But the slopes, it could be a little bit slippery and riskier for the kids. Okay, moving on to the cultural triangle. Like I said earlier, I'm not going to be talking about the famous suspects like Sigiri, Dambula, and Anuradhapura, but I'll be talking about really unique places. So Ritigala Monastery is again another off the beaten track. This is a mountain that you have to climb. So the beauty of Ritigala Monastery is like this is the tallest mountain in that entire area, which means, as you may know, Cultural Triangle is very hot, but to certain parts of this mountain at the top, it could be raining where it's like totally, beaming. I mean, like it's very hot down in the plains. So we do have 2 hosts for this. One is a historian, and then another one is a hermit monk. So I'll spend like a minute here to explain about the monastery complexes in Sri Lanka. So back in the day, like maybe 2000, 2500 years ago, when the monastery complexes were born, so there were monks who were living in jungles. So their lifestyle was like they didn't have any houses, they didn't have any belongings. They would go from monastery to monastery, meditating and then on the path to enlightenment. So there were several monasteries around Sri Lanka that were scattered around. So fast forward to 2025, how this is going to be included in the itineraries would be like a morning hike would be included. We always do the morning hike because the afternoon one we don't recommend because since this is like a bit of a jungle area, animals tend to come out in the evening. So we always do this in the morning. So the ruins are not like Anuradhapura, Polonnaruwa, huge structures, that kind of a thing. So this is more of a spiritual journey. I mean, like we are not talking about teaching your clients religion. It's just like a way of life kind of an experience that we have. Then the next one is Yapaho Rock Fortress. So again, another rock fortress apart from Sigiriya that we have in the area. So for a short period of time in our history, Yapaho was the capital of Sri Lanka. As you may know, the capital of Sri Lanka kept on changing from Anuradhapura to Polonnaruwa. Then Sigiriya became the capital. Likewise, one point in time, Yapaho was the capital. So this was the capital city and then the rock fortress. So I wouldn't say Yapaho Rock Fortress is a direct replica of Sigiriya in terms of things to do, but it is a beautiful place which is not crowded at all. So once again, it involves a lot of climbing as well. And then there are a lot of architectural things that you can see from maybe 700, 800 years ago. And it is in the cultural triangle. Okay, this is a very interesting story, actually. So, back in the day when the kings and queens were ruling Sri Lanka, there was a bunch of sculptors who were in service of the king. So, the chief sculptor, who was like really good, and then he had his protege who was like really good as well, and then he thought he was better than his master. So, there was a quarrel, and then the king said, okay, you got to stop this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you both a task that you're going to build me a sculpt a Lord Buddha statue, and I will be the judge of who is the better one. So this happened. Two Lord Buddha statues were built. As you may summarize, the one on the left, which is much more beautiful than the one on the right, the left one was carved by the master, and then at one point in time, once the master finished, the student saw the master's creation and he accepted his defeat, and then he left the area, and that's why the photo on the right looks like it's not finished properly. So I mean, like a little bit of a historical story that we try to do. So it's not like right next to each other, which is like maybe 5-10 minutes driving distance away. But again, for someone who is interested in history, architecture, this is like a nice place to visit. Okay, moving on to the hill country. Okay, in the hill country, I would say there are a couple of interesting places. And then this is the Nazareth Chapel, the only chapel or the church built by Jeffrey Bava in his entire life. So again, another gem, a hidden gem for those who are interested in history and then architecture. So the beauty of this place is this entire church doesn't have any windows. I mean, when we take our guests, we try to show them how the hidden vents are bringing in ventilation from outside. I mean, the location is amazing. So he had chosen the location towards the path of the wind path, so that way automatic ventilation happens. So it's not a huge cathedral kind of a thing, but still a small, beautiful, quaint little chapel that we have in a town called Bandaravela. So Bandaravela is where Anasa Wellness Resort, so those type of properties are at. Okay, so the next one is called the Dova Temple. This is in Alla. So as you know, Alla is very famous for hiking, then the Nine Arch Bridge, the train journeys. So if the clients want to do something different, Dova Temple could be one of the places that the clients could visit. So amazing history dating back again another 2000 years. And then as you can see from this photo, there is like an amazing tall Lord Buddha statue, which was carved into a granite rock. And then there is an image house, like a beautiful area where the religious part of Buddhism is like very active. So this is a very active temple. So if you go to places like Polonnaruwa, Yapahua, so those are like almost like ruined cities, but Dover Temple is a very active temple. Romance Valley. Okay, so this is, I know the photos are not amazing, but still, this is a design hotel. So, one of the biggest challenges that this hotel has is like capturing the beauty in a two-dimensional image. So, they only have like 7 rooms. A lot of celebrities have stayed here, like Mick Jagger from Rolling Stones. So, I mean, like the list goes on and on. And then they have like a 3 bedroom unit which is ideal for families traveling together. And then they have a duplex unit where the downstairs room has access to a private pool, and then it is ideal for families and friends. They sell the 2 rooms separately as well. So if you take the whole unit, then of course the room upstairs would get access to the pool downstairs. But if you book the room separately, then of course the room upstairs, I mean, you will not get access to the pool downstairs. Okay, moving on to the East Coast. This is called the Rajagala Monastery. This is, I would say, a miniature version of Polonnaruwa. I mean, still the excavations are going on. I mean, like, really, really old site. So the beauty of this place is like, it is really interesting site for me because long time back, there was a king in Sri Lanka. I'm not going to bore you with the numbers and the names of the kings. So he wants to build another Polonnaruwa or an Anuradhapura kind of city. So halfway through his journey, civil war broke out, and then he had to abandon the whole city and then go and tend to the civil war. I mean, like he never finished the city, so this whole entire ruined city is just slumbering out in the jungle. So whatever you see today have been excavated by the archaeological department, and they are rebuilding the whole thing as it was. I mean, you can't, you can't make it out as new ones because they are doing a really good job. So as you can see from that Lord Buddha statue, which was half carved, which is a great example of how this entire city was only half built, and then they just left it there. And Rajagala Monastery can be visited whenever when your clients are staying over at places like Galloy Lodge and then wild glamping, so which we'll be talking about later on. And yeah, so Galloya area is like very famous for elephants and then Vedas, but still, if they want to do a little bit of culture, Rajagala Monastery would be an amazing place. Yeah, we were talking about Galoya. So the boat safari is like the highlight of this area. Up until like several months back, we were able to book the boat safari exclusively, but then of course, several other properties came out, and then Galoya being the oldest property there, they had a lot of influence with the wildlife department. So what they did was like they were able to use their contacts and then pre-book these boats. But unfortunately, this largest man-made tank in the entire country has only 3 boats, which is a plus as well because the place is not crowded. But the downside is when the other hotels started complaining that they don't have their guests don't get chances to use this boat, then the wildlife department took a decision. Okay, everybody is gonna have a fair chance. So even if it is just like 2 people, you will not be able to book the boat privately. So you need to have 6 people for the boat to go. Of course, if there are no other guests, then of course 2 people can go in. Always tell your clients the boat safari is going to be shared. So we do have the Vada people, the forest dwellers of Sri Lanka, the Aborigines people in this area as well. And then Galloy Lodge and then Wild Glamping, they are doing some amazing experiences with them, like jungle cooking experiences, walkabouts with the Vedas, where they talk about their lifestyle and then how they used to live in the jungle. Okay, so the next area on the East Coast is Kumara National Park. Without a doubt, my best national park in the entire country for 2 reasons. Because the leopard sightings that you get here are like almost guaranteed for yourself. The leopard sightings are not guaranteed, of course, but the sightings are like guaranteed for yourself almost because the park is rarely visited. And back in the day, there was an ancient civilization inside Kumara National Park, which means right now we do have like cultural sites inside the park as well. So this is one of the very rare parks where the guests are allowed to get down from the get down from the jeeps and then walk around in the park and then like discover ancient ruin sites like Lord Buddha statues, small temples, ruins. So it's like two in one kind of an experience. Kumara National Park is. Apart from leopards, we do have elephants and bears as well. So this is Kumana Under Canvas, which is operated by Leopard Trails. So they're not using the Leopard Trails branding for this, because if we say Leopard Trails is like at the 5-star boutique level, I would say Kumana Under Canvas would be at the 4-star level. So we have to distinguish the difference. But this is the best experience that we have for guests who are going into Kumana. Why I said it's the best, because it is mobile camping right inside the national park. Sorry. And also, there are only 3 tents actually. So which means there are not, I mean, like if we have like one tent booked by us, then the other 2 tents would be booked by other guests. So which means a maximum of 6 people will be there. So I've been to Kumana so many times. This is one of the best national parks in Sri Lanka. We were talking about Galloya, so this is Galloya Lodge. Very eco-friendly property, a non-air conditioned rooms, boutique property. I mean, like the rooms are tastefully done. They have individual chalets, and then they have one a 2-bedroom villa as well. They were at one point in time they were thinking about putting a private pool, but they like let it go. Maybe in the future, fingers crossed, they might put a private plunge pool into that room. But none of the other rooms have private plunge pools. The washroom areas have a small opening to nature. Why I said that is because we need to keep the guests informed that because of this opening, there could be like an insect or two, like flying into your washroom, so that you don't freak out. This is wild glamping. This was, I mean, like this opened up a couple of years ago. A bit of a different vibe to Galloy Lodge actually, because Galloy Lodge is I mean, like located inside of a thick jungle kind of a area. But here, as you can see from this photo, it's like a lot of open space. As you can see, the mountains, the night sky with all the stars, because there's very little light pollution. And then here the chalets that they have are air conditioned as well. So if air conditioning is an issue, then of course wild glamping could be a good one. And then they have a spa as well. Okay, moving on to the northern part of Sri Lanka, we do have Mannar. So to give you an idea about the location of Mannar, so you may know once you start driving from Colombo towards north, you go past Nigambo and then you come to Wilpattu, keep going north, and then you come to Mannar. So Mannar was very famous back in the colonial times, because you may have heard of the name. I mean, like Sri Lanka had been called so many names like Ceylon, Serendip, Taprobana. So Pearl of the Indian Ocean was another name that was used back in the day. So the pearl industry was huge back in the day, and unfortunately, I'm not going to say which like nationality. One of the colonial invaders, they just drove the entire pearl industry into extinction. So the pearl mining happened in Mannar. So we have the Mannar Fort, Aripu Fort, Doric Bungalow. So all these three ancient ruins are related to the pearl industry, because they wanted strongholds to like store their wealth before being shipped off back into their own country. So there is a different type of a story in Mannar. And also, like the more north you go from the, I mean, like from Anuradhapura onwards, like cities like Trincomalee, Mannar, and Jaffna, the culture, the religion, the language, they change. I mean, like in all of Sri Lanka, the other parts, you would have Buddhism, but in these parts, you would have Hinduism. Everybody would be talking in Sinhalese in majority, I mean, like most of the parts of Sri Lanka, but in Mannar, Trincomalee, Jaffna, everybody would be talking in Tamil. I mean, like, I love this place because, I mean, like, we Sri Lankans, when we go there, we feel a little bit like aliens as well, because we don't understand a lot of like conversations that are going around by the locals. So, I mean, like, it's a totally different vibe. But they do only have one boutique property that we can recommend. But if we say Tea Trails is at 5 star, then like places like Ish Colombo or like King's Pavilion is at 4 star, then I would say this is a really, really good 3 star plus or a lead in 4 star. I mean, like, even though I say 3 star plus, don't be put off. This is a really good property. So if we say 3 star plus to 4 star standard, then of course the clients would get the correct idea. 14 rooms, they have a swimming pool, they have some, signature dining experiences, very authentic to this area as well. I'm just going to check the time. Okay, I need to rush. So this is Jaffna, and Jaffna is at the northernmost point of Sri Lanka. So as you can see, this photo depicts the Nallur festival, which is happening in August. So August is the month of festivals in Sri Lanka, actually. So in Kandy, we do have the Kandy Perahara. Then in Jaffna, we do have this festival, which is predominantly for the Hindus. And then in Yala, we have another festival. So three festivals happening in same month. So if your clients are interested in looking at festivals like these, different like cultures, different ways of life, then of course Jaffna would be an ideal place. So Delft Island, again, in very short, I will say one of the very unique places, actually. So you can fly in into Delft Island as well, if not take a boat. Delft Island is very unique because there are wild horses. This is the only place in Sri Lanka where you can see wild horses. Because back in the day when Portuguese were ruling Sri Lanka, they used Delft Island as a means of trading slaves and then horses. So thoroughbred horses, like fast forward to 2025, the thoroughbred horses are gone. We do have feral wild horses right now. So to do things to do, let me know if you're interested. We have a whole list of things that you can do in Jaffna. So Jeffrey in Mahesh Bhavan is the only recommended property that we have. It has a swimming pool, 4 rooms. The 2 rooms upstairs are the best ones in the house. And Jeffrey in Jaffna is there as well, but very basic, no swimming pool as well. So Singharaja rainforest is our next topic. Those who are like interested in flora and fauna, butterflies, birding, this is like a paradise. I mean, like long time back when I was like researching about Singharaja, it blew my mind that this rainforest had been there for the last 150 to 200 million years on Earth. So I mean, like it had gone through so many changes, but still, this is one of the very few virgin rainforests in Sri Lanka. And Rosewood Manor is the only recommended boutique property that we have. Of course, the rainforest ecology is there as well, but it is on the Deniaya side. Quickly about hummingbird travel. So we do have exclusive experiences that sets us apart from the others. Let me know if you are interested in these, because these experiences you will not be able to find anywhere else, because we curated these. The hosts are only selling these experiences to us. So the company was established in 1987. We have offices scattered all around Sri Lanka, all around the world. We are Virtuoso and Serendipian members as well. A little bit about the vehicle fleet that we have. Luxury SUVs from Range Rovers, Discoveries, going all the way down to vans, Mercedes-Benz Vitos. We can handle groups as well. We do use Vetu itineraries, which are very interactive. We can white label them with your logos and then your company contact details. Nothing about Hummingbird will be mentioned, so which you can send directly to your clients, where we take on the entire burden of you guys doing the itineraries, and then you can just send this link. The guides are our heart and soul, because whatever you and I do, like these guys make or break the tours. Apart from English, we do have other languages like Spanish, French, German, Italian, and then Russian and other languages as well. Talk to me about mice if you're interested. That is a whole different topic. So we'll be launching our mice website very soon as well. Ellie and I was just talking about it. So we do handle private jet journeys. So if your clients are coming in a private jet, we can handle all the operations in terms of cleaning, refueling, taking care of the crew, plus the whole journey of the clients in Sri Lanka. We do have on-tour updates, which we give for our which we give to you when the clients are in Sri Lanka. We talk to them, we tell them, tell you guys, look here, the clients have arrived, everything is going okay. We do that 3 times during the tour. We don't use any single-use plastic. We use glass water bottles, and then we give you the option of sparkling or still water. There are some activities we do not get involved in. Elephant back rides. I mean, like you can see it on the screen. Let me know if you want to know why. The final slide for the day. We are having several philanthropic aspects as well. We are part of the Conscious Travel Foundation, and then every tour you book with us, we keep a part of that profit to sponsor an orphan. So I mean, like we don't like publish these anywhere else. When we are doing one-on-one, I mean, like when we're doing webinars like this, we would talk about. Talk to me if you want to know more about the projects that we let our clients get involved in. There are some amazing projects from just $25 going all the way to like $10,000, $15,000 as well. Yeah, that's about it actually for today.
Thank you so much, Sanka. That was amazing. It always makes me want to go back to Sri Lanka every single time we sit on these webinars. So it's always bittersweet because it looks amazing, and I'm so sad not to be there with you guys and the team. But yeah, definitely get in contact with the Sri Lanka team if you have any more questions. The marketing team actually went out to Sri Lanka last April, and we stayed at Glen Ross and a few of the other properties. So you know, we're always visiting the properties, so we have all of that first-hand experience and knowledge if you guys need any more information on anything that we've covered today. But thank you so much, Sanka, and remember everybody to join us every Wednesday. We always have a webinar covering one of our fantastic destinations. So be sure to keep a lookout in our newsletters and on our socials for our next one. But I hope you have a lovely rest of your Wednesday, a lovely rest of the week. And thank you again, Sanka, for today's presentation.
Thanks, Ali. Thank you, everyone.